any person who could not afford the cost of a Formula 1 car had the opportunity to compete in the championship without any considerable issue. But with time, more and more people tried to join the sport, creating a huge competition for the limited slots available in the grid. So, the governing body came up with different types of requirements to select the best to compete in the championship. For an ordinary driver, there should be a valid driving license to drive a vehicle. Basically, the rule is the same for Formula 1 as well. Even if you can afford the price to drive an F1 car, you can't compete in the championship if you don't possess a super license. Welcome back to Total F1. Through this video, we hope to discuss the super license and the minimum requirements that should be fulfilled to obtain it. But before we proceed, hit the subscribe button and smash the bell icon for more exciting updates. The super license can be described simply as the driving license for Formula 1. The motorsport governing body, the FIA, which offers a wide range of licenses for different motorsport categories, has the right to issue this super license as well. This is considered as the super license in motorsport, as it demands the highest level of requirements among all the racing categories. The issuance of a Formula 1 super license happened for the first time in the early 90s. Since then, several requirements have been added to this license, making it harder to obtain it. The sole purpose of the introduction of this document was to prevent the arrival of people without skill into the sport. Even after the issuance of the super license, the FIA has the full authority to revoke it, if the governing body feels that someone is unsuitable to hold a super license. According to the current list of requirements, a driver who wishes to obtain a super license should be at least 18 years old. However, there was no such requirement a few years back. If we say this rule was introduced in 2015, after Max Verstappen made his debut in Formula 1 at his 17 years of age, Verstappen's arrival to the Formula 1 arena would have been somewhat controversial, as he got a direct promotion to F1 from F3 without competing in F2. If simply said, he was literally inexperienced to drive a powerful F1 car, even though he managed the scenario after joining F1. But the FIA wasn't able to take any legal measures against this action, as Verstappen fulfilled all the requirements to get a super license. So the FIA came up with a new age rule to prevent inexperienced and potentially unsafe drivers from joining the grid. To be qualified for a super license, a driver should possess an international Grade A license issued by the FIA to be involved in motor racing. Other than this racing license, one should possess a valid driving license as well. And other than that, it is mandatory for any driver to compete in more than 80% of 2 separate full seasons of certified single-seater championships. There is a range of such valid single-seater championships, and that's why drivers are coming from categories like IndyCar without competing in Formula 1 feeder series like Formula 2 or Formula 3. Even after completing all the requirements, one must prove his or her skills and experience. To assess those, the FIA has developed a point system covering a number of motorsport categories. This is totally based on competitiveness in each racing category and the performance delivered by a driver in a certain category. You can see the points offered for different racing categories in screen, and you can see that there are several various paths to reach F1 without competing in F2 or F3. But F2 can be identified as the easiest path for a driver to reach his ultimate goal of competing in Formula 1, as more points are awarded to top place finishes in the season. Other than that, title contenders of racing categories like IndyCar, Formula 3, Formula E and World Endurance Championship also have considerable opportunities to earn points needed to obtain the super license. Drivers need to score at least 40 points within a 3-year period, and the FIA has granted 2 ways to collect these necessary points. This 3-year period is calculated preceding the year of application, or the 2-year period preceding the year of application, in addition to points accumulated in the year of application. In addition to the above-mentioned requirements, the team which backed the driver to obtain a super license must provide the opportunity for their driver to complete at least 300 kilometers consistently at racing speeds in a representative F1 car. However, it is essential to complete the test drive within 2 days, and the whole test drive should be certified by the ASN of the country where the test drives take place. Even when all these requirements are fulfilled, the FIA considers only test drives to take place within less than 180 days before the application date. In addition to the above point scoring system, there are a few other alternative ways to collect some kind of bonus points towards a super license. It works as follows. A driver who completes any of the FIA championships without experiencing any penalties, such a driver will be awarded an additional 2 points towards their super license. The Formula 3 World Champion will be awarded an additional 5 points on top of their sporting result. An additional 1 point is awarded upon the completion of at least 100 kilometers during a free practice session of a Formula 1 championship event. Drivers can collect a maximum of 10 points using this method. However, the practice session should be free from any penalties to count that point towards the super license requirement. Even though we feel that it is easy to score 40 points needed for a super license, it is a hard thing in reality. We have seen a number of drivers from different motorsport categories, especially from IndyCar, that failed to complete their promotion to F1 as they failed to obtain their super license with this score system. After fulfilling all these requirements, drivers must pay a standard fee of €10,400 for the application process. Anyone who has already obtained the super license must pay a fee of €2,100 for each World Championship point that they have scored in the previous year to renew their license. That's why Verstappen has to pay a sum of €963,800 for his super license ahead of the 2024 season. There is a penalty system associated with the super license, and any driver who receives a sum of 12 penalty points will be suspended for the immediate championship event as a punishment. However, none of the drivers have received a race suspension after the introduction of this penalty system. Of course, the FIA has the full authority to revoke any of the issued super licenses outside of this penalty system. Japanese driver Yuji Ide's super license was revoked after a major crash at the 2012 Belgian Grand Prix, and the decision was taken after closely monitoring a string of unsafe driving from the Japanese driver. The super license system has been designed in a way to expire automatically after 3 years of inactivity from the competitive sport. That's all we have to tell you about the Formula 1 super license. Now you can understand that it is not an easy thing to obtain. Even if you have the money, you can't buy a super license, as the FIA is really strict on that matter, allowing the opportunity only for the drivers who have proved their skill and experience on the track. What do you think about the super license? Share your thoughts in the comment section below. Thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed the video, subscribe to the channel to get more exciting Formula 1 news. See you in the next video, guys. Goodbye.